So I've been really into collecting vinyls and CDs. Every time I buy one, I get this rush. But after it's delivered and I listen to it and feel great, don't get me wrong, I kind of just, forget about it. Why does this happen? Why, when we really want something and then get it, does it magically become meh? You know? What I saw is that this actually has a name, and it's called hedonic adaptation or the hedonic treadmill. Hedonic adaptation is the tendency for people to return to a baseline level of happiness after experiencing a positive or negative event. Take, for example, lottery winners or accident survivors. One group becomes millionaires and the other loses the life that they've become accustomed to. Research showed that both of these groups, after a few years, return to almost the same level of happiness. Hedonic adaptation explains why it feels like we're stuck in a never-ending cycle of chasing the next big thing, but never really reaching it. In today's video, we'll explore everything from what is a happiness baseline to how to overcome hedonic adaptation. While happiness and how to live a meaningful life are both very nuanced topics, and this short video will not be able to cover everything, I still want to equip you with the awareness of why chasing the prize doesn't always work and how to tangibly increase your quality of life. So, what exactly is happiness? It's hard to give just one definition because happiness encompasses so many different and conflicting emotions and feelings. It's also different for each person. So, for this video, we'll be referring to happiness as subjective well-being. Subjective well-being looks to evaluate happiness by looking at how people feel about their lives. It asks questions like, are you satisfied with your life? Are you experiencing positive emotions and moods? And how often are you experiencing negative feelings or moods? Now that we have a useful definition of happiness, it's time to talk about the hedonic set point. The hedonic set point is essentially our body's baseline level of happiness. Some people have a naturally higher baseline, while others have a lower baseline. Still, your set point isn't fixed forever. It's more of like a starting point. A 2005 study saw that about 1 in 4 participants saw lasting changes in their set point over the course of a few decades. To illustrate this, let's look at marriage. For some, getting married actually increased or even decreased a person's set point long term, even after adapting to the event. Other life events like widowhood or becoming unemployed also saw a change in the set point, usually downward. These examples illustrate that while your hedonic set point is influenced by factors outside of your control, you still have the ability to change your set point. At this point, we've covered how to measure happiness and what a hedonic set point is and possible ways to change it. But what actually influences hedonic adaptation? The first factor is culture. Surprise, surprise, where you live and how your society is modeled can change how you adapt to positive and sometimes even negative events. Individualistic cultures tie happiness to personal success. You should be happy because you make a lot of money, have a nice car, or own a beautiful home. That causes people to adapt faster to wins and continuously chase the next achievement instead of valuing the life they've cultivated. On the flip side, collectivist cultures tie happiness to community and relationships. You're happy because you're uplifting people and building meaningful relationships through your actions. That's not to say you can't experience hedonic adaptation here, because it does and can happen, but there's a buffer because happiness is being tied to your relationships and shared meaning instead of objects or individual accomplishments. The next influence on hedonic adaptation is shifting expectations. Our standards rise as we acquire and achieve more. For example, say you're eating a really good burger. The first bite is amazing and you're so satisfied with your meal. But as you keep eating, you're not as wowed. Your expectation shifts. You expect every bite to be just as good as the first, so it loses its novelty. This simple example can extrapolate to different parts of our lives. That job you once dreamed about, that car that you really wanted, even relationships. The final influence we'll talk about are philosophical perspectives. Essentially, how we frame life can influence how we adapt to certain events. A hedonist might say, in life we must prioritize pleasure above all else. But in practice, chasing pleasure accelerates hedonic adaptation. The highs wear off faster, and the chase is more intense, which can spiral into addiction or even burnout. On the other hand, a Stoic may detach from outcomes. They may believe that you can cry or laugh about something, but in the end, it happened. Together, these three examples illustrate how hedonic adaptation can be influenced by things outside of our genetics. So, what can we do? Are we to stay on the hedonic treadmill forever, constantly chasing happiness but never truly reaching it? No! No! There are three ways to minimize hedonic adaptation and create a greater level of happiness in your life. The first way is to introduce variety. When we do the same things repeatedly, we don't derive the same level of happiness. Keeping experiences fresh and different can slow adaptation. Take a different route from work, try a new cafe, or change up your workout routine. These all can add excitement to your life and mitigate some of the effects of hedonic adaptation. The next way to slow hedonic adaptation is appreciation. Expressing gratitude by acknowledging what you have is powerful. If you recall, one of the hallmarks or foundations of hedonic adaptation is the chase. Through expressing gratitude, you're recognizing that, while things may not be perfect, what you have is enough. Similar to variety, you're becoming more active in your life by truly experiencing it and valuing what you have instead of just numbing it by chasing something else. The last way we'll talk about for mitigating hedonic adaptation is by pursuing a meaningful life. This last one is tricky because how to live a meaningful life can be a whole other video in itself. But for today, I want you to just sit with yourself. Really get to understand what you want from life and what would make you happiest. Sit with your boredom and use your imagination to get to know yourself and determine what that means to you. Is it fostering strong relationships with people you can trust and be vulnerable with? Is it traveling and experiencing other cultures? Or is it to have a stable routine? It'll be different for everyone, which is why you'll need to find the strength in yourself to know what's best for you. The last thing I'll leave you with is that everything is not for everyone. Find your voice, find your purpose, and don't let anyone shame you for it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.